All right, guys, this is going to be a jam-packed episode. We got so many sports to talk about, so many news, so much stuff. Let's just get right into it. What is up, spectators? Welcome back to another episode. It is episode 138, and it is May 23rd. I am Julian, and I am here with my partner in duty, Brooklyn. What is going on, brother?
A lot. A
A
lot is going
lot.
on. Like you said at the top of the episode, this is a jam-packed episode for you guys. We haven't done one of these in a while,
Yeah.
and I'm excited for it. But we also got a jam-packed spectators week too. You guys haven't seen already. We did an interview. Well, we had a special guest on the pod on a special surprise episode on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dylan Drummy of the Drummy Angle. Super smart kid. If you guys are not really into sabermetrics for MLB, that is a great interview to go watch. Get some knowledge on that. Super smart kid. Make sure you go follow him as well. Big shout out to Marquez Forrest. We just went to the UFG title defense for him the other night. Our boy is 5-0. We got a video coming out for that soon. There's a whole lot of stuff. Shout out Kashmula. We got his interview coming out this week too. Omar went to the Eastern Conference Finals that we're going to get into in a little bit. So make sure you guys go follow the Spectators Media on YouTube and at Spectators Media on all the platforms in the world because, man, there's so much going on.
There's a lot
And
of
I'm
stuff.
ready to get into this.
Yeah, and that there's a great way to transition. You mentioned that our boy Omar. Shout out Omar. You guys know, love him. He's been on a couple episodes now, and he's the brain behind a lot of our basketball stuff. And he just kind of had an opportunity fall into his lap. He happened to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. He was there for Game 3, so he was there for the first game in Boston. He got to see Miami take care of business. Jimmy went down. Marcus Smart went down. Dayton went down, and let's talk about that series while we're on that subject, right? Because that series going in, we knew this was going to be a hard fought battle.
Oh yeah.
And we all had fears coming into the series that whoever came out of this one would be too hobbled to deal with Golden State because we had a feeling coming in it was going to be Golden State. We love Luka, and Luka's been the best player in the playoffs since Giannis last year, obviously, but then since Kawhi, when Kawhi went crazy in the Raptors' final year, Luka's just been otherworldly, and
Special.
it's tough. We get it. We've expected Golden State to win that series, so we said whoever was going to come out of this Miami and Boston series was going to have a tough time because it's hard play. These guys are bruisers on both sides of the court, and they're both defensive teams that pride themselves on their defense first and foremost, and it's been exactly that. First takes on the first couple of games in the series. I think the next one's tomorrow, so we got a day.
Yeah, I mean, you go into the first game, and like you said, just dogfight, and Miami manages to pull it out in a really, really just hard fought fashion. And then you look at game 2, where they just get stomped.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, it's going to be one of those series where really you're not going to be able to tell what's going on. And I mean, shout out to Bam really stepping up after Jimmy goes down in game 3, going off. Let me get his stat line
I
pulled
think
up here.
he was 31. He was like on 50-something% shooting. It was the most shots that Bam has ever taken in a single game of his career.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to note because, he's been in the league a couple of years now. He's been to a finals already. He's been to an all-star game. And he scored 30 in the past, but he did it very efficiently. Again, the most shots he's ever had. So there was a clear get him the ball type of presence. And I don't know, it worked. They were up big in this game and wound up, once Jimmy went down, they did lose that lead. They were able to hold on to it, but there was a furious comeback that happened.
Yeah, and like you said, just whoever's going to win the series is going to be who's the least hobbled. with Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart managing to get back into the game, but getting injured during it. And now Jimmy, he's expected to play game 4.
Hmm.
Kyle Lowry's out there looming.
He
Robert
play he played
Williams,
and he played pretty well too.
yeah. Robert Williams, he's on
He's
and off
been
the
day to
court.
day for
You,
2 months.
yeah, you don't know when you're gonna get him, when he's suiting up. So it's
Yeah,
like you really have to take this series just game to game. There's no like, oh, this is gonna happen next game because you really don't know.
yeah.
And this Boston team has surprised a lot of people. I feel like because when you looked at the regular season, halfway through it, you didn't really think of Boston to really be a threat come this late into the
Well,
playoffs.
and then that second half of the year came, and they've been the
The
best team in
second half happened.
basketball. They've been the best team
Exactly.
in the league since then, and so they've played very well, and they've been exactly what they've been the second half of the year, which is defense first. They're going to pressure you. They
Hmm.
want you to play half court offense, and if you get into a half court offense, it's going to be a tough game for you because they have the
They're
guys that
definitely
can
earning
make
their
big
spot.
shots. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
they
definitely
have the
earning their spot.
guys that can make the shots. I mean, Jalen Brown had 40 points last night. Like
Hmm.
Jalen Brown had 40 points, and he balled out too, and it was completely overshadowed by what Bam was doing. But this is a weird series again because, like you said, the injuries are pretty rampant. I
Hmm.
can't anticipate Marcus Smart playing. If he plays, I'd be shocked because if you guys didn't see on the play that he hurt his ankle, it looked like one of those like he hurt his ankle, he's probably out indefinitely type of deals. And I don't know what they got going on in there. Trey Young tweeted it actually. He was like, dude, what's going on with the Celtics training staff? They had like the super duper cortisone, HP, medical. They had a lifeline main in the back that dropped a bot that healed him up a little bit. And they both came back on the court with Tatum and Marcus Smart. It was insane.
Yeah.
I don't know if Marcus will play. That guy's a dog, so I know he'll want to. Tyler Hero's out for game 4.
Yep.
That's a big blow. But the Heat are going to be okay. I think the Celtics suffer significantly more from a guy like Marcus. If Marcus Smart is out, that is a giant blow. Whereas the Heat were out Lowry, they still won a game. They're going to be out
Yeah.
Jimmy for half a game. They still won. They're going to be out Hero the whole next game. They'll probably still be okay because they're a deep, deep team with a lot of scorers everywhere. And Marcus's scoring has been invaluable, to say the least, to this team.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And Boston obviously a lot more top heavy just because of their name. So
Yeah,
this is it's gonna be interesting because if Boston goes down 3-1,
it's over. It's done.
it's over.
It's done.
So like they have to win this game. This is the must win,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Because even if they go on to win the next 2 after that, I don't see
Because
them winning 3 in a
Because
row.
the issue becomes you lost 2 at home, which means the Heat can now beat you at home again.
Exactly.
It can be a thing. Your home court's just fully gone, and that means you have to beat the Heat twice in Miami, where they have been very good this year. I mean,
Yep.
so good that they were the 1 seed in the East. Crazy how that works.
Hmm.
Yeah, obviously it's a must win. Going down 3-1. Oh, it's only worked out twice ever for a team on the other side of it, so you don't want to be on the wrong side of history there. And then we
Yeah.
talk about teams being down 3-1. Let's go to Golden State. They happen to not put themselves in that situation. They won last night, despite Luka putting up 40 in the last 3 games. I think Luka's averaging 40, I'm pretty sure. And he is just doing everything he can. And I'm sure if you guys have been on social media or like TikTok or ESPN today, there's been a lot of narrative on Luka needs help. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think there's like instead of looking at the shortcomings of the Mavericks, I just think this is just an indictment towards how well coached and how well of an oiled machine the Warriors have just become at this point. They have Steph Clay,
Yeah.
Kevon Looney, and Draymond Green who just know how to win games. Kevon Looney has been the most surprising, not surprising because we know he's a talented guy, but he's been the most surprising guy of the playoffs in general to this point. I mean, the lift that he's given his team, whether it's against the Memphis Grizzlies in the game where he had like 22 boards to just like completely obliterate them and like ruin their hopes. And then he had like 22 the other night, and he had 22, and Steph had like 30 something, and we didn't care about Steph because Looney was like so impactful, and like the things he were doing were so impactful to just winning games. it's not really fair to blame the Mavericks for losing this series. I mean, Luka can do all he wants to do, and it is partly on the supporting cast, right? You can't have Reggie Bullock and I forgot the other guy. They went 0 for 15 combined with 0 points.
Yeah.
And Bullock played 30 something minutes, and the other one, again, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, played like 24
Bullock,
minutes.
Keebler, I think he went 0 for 5. Is
Yeah.
that who you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
Keebler played 25, went 0 for 5
0
on
points.
5 3-point shots. So just my boy was shooting. And then Reggie Bullock 0 for 10 with 40 minutes. So
Yeah.
just to make it worse than what he just said. 40
Played
minutes.
the whole game. He played the whole game. Didn't score a single point. And he was playing good defense. Like I was watching the game. Like he was playing his good. He was playing his good man-on-man defense. Like that's what Reggie Bullock is there to do. He's a good team defender, and he's a 3-and-D guy. But when you're not doing the 3 part and you're not scoring at all, and he's a horrible off the dribble player, just horrible. So he's a catch and shoot, and he can kind of make his own shot on the perimeter, but that's about it. To get 0 for 15 out of those two guys, to lose by only a handful of buckets, and you had a 12-point lead that you lost and wound up losing by almost double digits if it weren't for Luka hitting miraculous threes. This would have been a blowout, and now it is a blowout. It's a 3-0 lead. There's no hope for the Mavericks here. They're not coming back. But it was a really, really impressive season from them, and
it was a cool run, too.
We're at the point now, and this isn't new either. I think we're just like, oh, this isn't a fluke anymore. Luka is a top 5 player. I'm not really up for debating this. If you want to say he's number 5, that's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
But he is a top 5 player. He has proven that in the biggest moments, game 7s, just against the Warriors in general, he's efficient. He dominates a game. He's unafraid. He got yammed on last night. Andrew Wiggins put this man on the poster. Granted, there was a charge. And, like, he was just like, man, he said in the interview, he was like, he hit me a little bit, but, like, I wish I had athleticism like that. And, to be able to take stuff in stride like that, even after a loss, says something about him, too. I've never been so impressed by somebody. And granted, I shouldn't be because we know who he is at this point, but just the things he does impress me more and more every time.
Yeah, and the narrative of they need help, like, shout out to Brunson and Dinwiddie for doing their thing this playoffs.
Because they played above what I think most people would have anticipated. Unless you're watching. Jalen Brunson's a very good ball player, so, like, he played about where he's going to get you.
Very good, but especially early in the playoffs where Brunson led them to victories. Yeah. We had our episode where we went over what does each team need to do to win the championship, and you said,
and remember, I said it needs to be the guys outside of Luka. There's a clip
Dinwiddie
out there
and Brunson. He said they need 50 together. Well, Brunson had 20, Dinwiddie had 26.
Not enough.
Shout out. Not enough.
Not 50.
Not enough.
It's not 50.
Especially when Luka's putting up 40.
Yeah. And
like their next highest scorer is Finney-Smith with 9, and then they get 3 out of Powell and 2 out of Bertans.
And that's it.
And
that's their scores. That's their scores.
That is it. That is unacceptable.
If you're getting 7 out of guys, that's fine. If you're the Miami Heat where you're running 12 guys out there, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good run for the Mavericks. They need to get a rim protector that's going into the help, and then they need to like upgrade one of their 3-and-D guys. If they could do those two things, and then re-sign Brunson, which I'm not sure if they should do or not. I don't know if they want to handicap themselves like that. But if you do re-sign him,
because the Mavericks they don't seem that far out from like being a contender. If they just add those pieces.
Yeah. They're hard pieces to get though when like
they are.
Again, you do have to pay Brunson if you want to keep him, and now you're looking at money issues, and that becomes a whole thing. And getting people to Dallas is kind of hard in general. So,
I mean, hey, you got a guy named Rudy Gobert out there who there seems like there's trouble in paradise, and if they're able to make something happen and get Luka and Rudy together, I mean, you're in Utah, so it ain't that hard to get you to Dallas. I can tell you that much.
Little European connection part 2, huh?
So that'd be cool. And real quick, you already mentioned his name, but I just want to put some shine on him because he just keeps on doing it. Andrew Wiggins, shout out to that boy.
27 last
He
night.
27, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Like that boy is doing the damn thing over there. He's making a name for himself and just energizing his whole career to what a lot of people didn't think was going to happen in Golden State. And I've mentioned this plenty of times. And so got to keep on giving that boy his shine because, man,
Yeah.
what a huge addition to this team.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, Golden State makes the most out of the least, so good for them. They're on their way to another finals once they win their fourth game. Because again, if they lose this series, that's on me. I'll blame me. I'll do it. I'll take the blame. I'll fall on the sword. Then I lose them. It's over. So
They're not.
so, but yeah. So that's
Hate to
pretty
see it.
much how the NBA is looking. We got Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow. That'll be a really good one, and essentially a must-win, like we said, for the Celtics. They can make it happen though. I think they have a good shot to win tomorrow. So that's what we're
Yeah.
looking at. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna go to the PGA Championship real quick because there was a pretty historic thing that happened this weekend. First of all, Tiger Woods was out there golfing. He didn't play his best golf. It was kind of a rough weekend for most people. To put it in perspective, the winner was only 5 under, and I think for the Masters, the winner was 16 under. So like, just that alone, like, it was a tough weekend. But Justin Thomas wins another PGA Championship. I forgot how many you said majors he's had in the last couple of years, but
Let me see if I can get that real quick.
yeah, he has won quite a few majors at this point, and I mean, he's been one of the mainstays on the tour for a couple of years now, and
15.
15 majors. That's a lot. He's this is not a
Yeah.
first time type of deal. This guy's been around for quite a bit, and Justin Thomas has just been at the top for a while, like somewhere in the mix. Like when you think of great golfers, he's just in that group. And he
He
had you got it.
go finish yours.
No, he
My,
had
mine's gonna piggyback.
one of the biggest comebacks in a major history. And he was down 8 shots and he overcame that. They wound up going to a playoff and he gets his victory. He wins the championship and just honestly a very impressive like last 3 days from him.
And the nugget I want to throw on top of that, doing that, he completed the third largest 54-hole comeback in major history. Only Paul Lawyer and Jack Burke Jr. did it in the 1999 British Open and a 1956 Masters.
Okay. So to come back from that is again very impressive.
Yeah.
8 shots down with 40 people in front of you. You got to hope that everybody does poorly and you can do your part to get back in that. And he did it. So shout out to JT.
1.2% chance of even doing that. 1.2% chance of even doing that, just in case you didn't hear me.
You got to play every hole. Every hole. And then you had a tidbit that he said after, right?
I do. He goes on to the SiriusXM PGA Tour radio, and they ask him, "Do you have a 24-hour rule like Nick Saban in Alabama football?" He says, "Yeah, I've got a 24-hour rule." And then, just to throw some jabs at something we're gonna segue right into this after, he says, "I'm not sure what Jimbo Fisher's rule is, but I guess he's got to win something first before he figures out his rules." And that's hilarious.
And that's really good because that's about as topical as it gets, right? I mean,
Yeah.
right at the beginning of the PGA Championship, there's this big thing where Jimbo Fisher reacts to what Nick Saban says. Nick Saban pretty much calls out him and Texas A&M for buying their players. I think Alabama missed out on a recruit, and Nick was kind of not feeling some type of way about it. And he was like, "Oh, they buy their guys," and the clip, if you guys haven't watched it, it's gold. It is absolute gold. Jimbo Fisher just absolutely rips Nick Saban. And everything he says is kind of true to a point. He was like, you're going to like come after me and my program's integrity where we're just trying to make some men out of boys and play some football and do stuff the right way. And I got a great group of people over here and all that. And you're going to come after me after you've been on the top this whole time and you don't get one thing and now you have a hissy fit. And he was going in on him. It's really good. Please go watch that. It's like it's two grown men just going at it, and it's the pinnacle of like part of the reason we love sports. Where it's like sports are awesome, but like it's the best reality show in the world.
It is. It is. And then you get the little triangle of drama where Jackson State head coach Deion Sanders gets involved in this too because they're trying to say that they paid Travis Hunter, a top recruit, $1 million to come play. And Deion's like, I don't even make $1 million. Like, what you talking about?
And then Travis,
we just got him.
Yeah, Travis tweeted too. He was like, "I got $1 million. Yo, where's the money at?"
Yeah, and Deion was
like, "Why
saying,
does my mama still live in a 2-bedroom?"
And Dion was like, I'm not the one to play with. Like, don't come after me because I air it out pretty much just to bring it all together. I'll air it out. Don't come for me.
Yeah, and we're going to get a lot more of this drama because NIL is just going to do that. Coaches are going to be salty. Players are going to be salty. Coordinators are going to be salty. Because, I mean, you work so hard to get these recruits. You get into their house, you meet their family, you do all these things, you spend the money to go out there and actually time to recruit them. You bring them in, they don't play, something happens, the team doesn't reach expectations. Now you go, oh, well, you know what? I want to go to USC now because it's LA and that's really cool. And USC and those Pac-12 schools don't care that you guys think that they're spending money on players. They're like, yeah, whatever. We're going to be good. Like, if you ask Oregon, I mean, they won't say it. And USC, if they're putting money towards these kids, they'll be like,
maybe.
But then the SEC, they're in like cat fighting matches about it. It's gold. It's gold. Sports are the best drama you could possibly find.
You love to see it.
You really do. And we're going to stick with football for a little bit. Not too much is happening, but OTAs did start today. And there are a couple notable people who did not show up. We have Kyler Murray for the Arizona Cardinals. Fully expected him to not show up. There's been kind of rumors where he doesn't want to be there. Or does, but wants a big money extension. I don't really know what the situation's happening. Baker Mayfield didn't show up. Fully expected as well. They went and got Deshaun Watson. He asked for a trade. They said no. That's a whole disaster. Deebo Samuel did not show up to OTAs. Same situation. He kind of wants to trade because he doesn't want to be a running back, but wants to make the most amount of money for a wide receiver, even though he's not the best wide receiver.
Go get paid.
Go get paid. And then the more surprising one is Aaron Donald, although I don't think this is actually an issue. I think that's just like,
oh, neither.
Hey, let's figure something out because like there was a second where I wanted to retire. So let's talk about it. And, I think he'll be fine. He'll stay. There's no issues there. But the other three are definitely things to worry about.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye out on. And with Kyler Murray, you get to keep an even closer eye on because the Arizona Cardinals are going to be on Hard Knocks this season. So
it's going to be fun. Yeah,
so shout out to that.
Yeah, you get to see that, and then you get to see him get reunited with Hollywood, and then you get to see all the Hopkins stuff from the suspension, and you'll get to see them play in November when they implode like they always do. And that'll be a really good Hard Knocks. That'll be a good Hard Knocks. And then we mentioned Baker, which is important because over the weekend, the Browns signed a D lineman, and they have one of the deeper D lines in the league. They got former Brown player Jadeveon Clowney. Bring him back on a 1-year, $11 million deal. This is like Clowney's like 8th team now. That man can't stay on a team. He's either signing somewhere or is getting traded.
Yeah.
But he's still productive. He had 9 sacks last year, and the Browns' D-line is already incredibly good at stopping the run and getting the quarterbacks. And now you have Clowney, and I'm trying to remember who else is there. Stephen Weatherly and Myles Garrett. I almost forgot Myles Garrett's name somehow. Yeah. That's a really good D-line. And they're going to get after you. And that's scary. And that's already a really good division. And I think the Browns are a little slept on in that division because the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. And the Steelers are the Steelers. And the Ravens are healthy.
And just the Browns have all the Brown stuff going on with them.
Exactly.
So everybody's just counting them out.
Which is fair.
It is.
But I think the Browns don't sleep on them yet. Not yet, at least.
Yeah. Because if Deshaun Watson comes in and he plays to how he could, and they don't like implode too much like Cleveland likes to do.
They love it.
They're
Nobody
they're a
likes to do it
scary
more.
team. You can't deny it. They're a scary team. But nobody's gonna be scared of something that tends to not even be there. If you're scared of Ghost, sucks. Half the time they're not even there.
Sometimes they might, but not today.
Not today.
Not today, devil. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, we're on the topic of signings, right? And maybe one of the biggest signings in the world, like ever, happened this weekend. PSG's Kylian Mbappe, after pretty much saying all season he was going to re-sign with Real Madrid over the summer, he was like, I want to be in Real. Then he kind of said it again over the season. Just doesn't do it. He does not sign the Real Madrid. He rejects their offer, and he re-signs a 3-year deal with PSG. The numbers are kind of weird, so I'm not going to specifically say the numbers, but it's over a $300 million deal, essentially.
Yeah, it's a mega deal. No matter which way you want to look at it, it's a mega deal, and man.
And here's the important parts about this deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he signs this deal, and now Mbappe essentially has power over the organization, right? Part of the deal was he's going to have a say in who the higher ups are, who the coach is going to be, and who some of his players are going to be. This is LeBron James. And we've seen this because LeBron and Mbappe have spent time together. LeBron has spent time with several soccer players, several other sports guys out there that he idolizes, that he respects. They have the Nike connection. LeBron watches soccer. He owns part of Liverpool. Like, this isn't new for him. And Mbappe now has become the LeBron James of world soccer, not in the fact that he's maybe the best of all time. I mean, he's a fantastic talent. He has been really, really good the last couple of years. But he's going to have choices as to who he wants to help run this team and get them to the next level. And whether that's a good thing or not is kind of strange because soccer is not the same as basketball, where it's just a singular organization. There's ripples, right? They have a women's team. They have the U18 team, 17, everything else. They have other sports. There's volleyball for PSG. Like, there's a lot of things that are impacted by this, but they have mega money. It's oil money. They're willing to spend it, and I'm really happy for Mbappe. Its ripples in the game itself are kind of early to tell. This has been a long time coming, ever since the Christian Bale signing a couple of years ago. He got like $100 million, and people were like, whoa. And, it's becoming big money to get these guys and get these transfers and get these free agents, which free agency doesn't particularly happen in soccer very often, but it's a lot. And Mbappe is well worth the money because he is one of those guys. You go to a game to see him.
Yeah, and I want to mention this one thing that I'm looking at. We won't go too deep into it because I don't have all the details, but it is reported that La Liga is taking legal action against PSG they're going to file a complaint about the signing. So that's
not the first time this has happened with PSG, I'll tell you that. When they first got Mbappe, it was a whole issue, so it makes sense. It absolutely
insult to football. So haters gonna hate.
How you gonna hate from the outside of the club?
Can't even get in.
Can't even get in. And
like,
then,
don't
funny
be mad.
too.
Don't be mad a team is gonna spend money on a player. Like,
they're only mad about where the money's coming from, and you know what? Have a
get
salary
your money
cap.
up, not your funny up.
Have a salary cap. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? But then there was also the news earlier this week that I don't know if it's true or not anymore. Soccer's weird where rumors happen, like Mbappe going to Real Madrid for 9 months and then it doesn't happen. Where like soccer rumors kind of just come out of some dude in a pub. and like there's no like passing where like if he says it, it's gospel. Like there's not really
and it's all overseas, so like bozos like us, we're getting it through the grapevine, playing telephone. It's already went through like 7 different hands, and we're just getting the news. So it's like, this thing doesn't even exist anymore, and we're just now hearing about it.
It doesn't even. But there was news about potentially Messi going to Inter Miami, and then part of the deal was him like buying stock and ownership in it. I don't know if that's happening. I don't know, but
I
it'll
hope
be
it is.
really, really cool to see Messi in the United States, and it'll be so good for the MLS to like. They've been doing it for a while, and then they stopped because the MLS actually got better as a whole. But they were bringing in all those older European guys for a little bit, and just using them kind of as bait to get other young stars and like get fans in the building. And it definitely worked, and the MLS has grown tremendously in the last decade or so. That's a
It will,
big step forward to get Messi on a team if they can
it
do
will
that.
be huge for soccer in the States.
Yeah,
Huge. Because like you're getting one of the best players in the world. One of the best players to ever play. You're getting him in the States and people are able to go watch him if they want to instead of going overseas. Like I know once we saw the news, whether it's gonna be true or not, we were like, all right, we're going to
let's
Miami
go
to
to
go see
Miami,
Messi.
baby. Yeah,
We
let's go see Messi.
going we going to
Go to my
Miami.
backyard. I think I see Messi. Like, come on now.
Like you got to. Like you can't miss out on that.
No.
Like you just don't have a chance to see those players. So why not? So that would be huge for the sport, just to help it grow even more. So
Yeah. The
that'd be dope.
second biggest sport in the world to grow more. Who would have thought?
Especially with the World Cup coming in a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, we have it this winter, fall, winter. I think it's in the fall in Qatar. And then it's coming to North America in 5 years.
2026. Yeah.
2026? Yeah, yeah.
hmm
4 years. Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Location hasn't been announced yet. I think they're looking at like
it's just,
11 or like
yeah, it's
a
just
bunch of different stadiums.
it's going to be a bunch of stadiums between Mexico, Canada, and the States. It'll be LA, it'll be Mexico City, it'll be Toronto, it'll be
Yeah,
Montreal and New
they're
York.
I know they're looking at like SoFi, they're looking at AT&T.
Yeah,
They're looking at a lot. They're even looking at the Rose Bowl too.
perfect. Do it there.
Yeah.
Great stadium. Best stadium
Yeah.
in college sports.
So it'll be fun. I
Yeah.
mean, I would love to take a trip out there just to like
It depends
be
on
in the
where it is and
environment.
all that. Absolutely. Yeah,
I
100%
mean,
agree.
hey, 2026, who knows where we're gonna be at? We can pull up to the World Cup.
Give me the media pass, baby.
Yeah.
Give me the
So
media pass. Absolutely. And then what else we got? We got the NHL playoffs going on too. I mean, dear Lord.
go
There's just
Rangers, go Lightning.
the Lightning are absolutely beating the pants off the Panthers. Game 4 is tonight, so if you're listening to this, the game's probably over already. I have no idea if they swept or not. I'm gonna assume they swept because the Lightning are they nice like that. And so
Right there with you.
welcome to the Eastern Finals Lightning again, 3rd year in a row. Shout out.
Shout out.
Rangers are having a good little battle over there. It's a 2-1 series. They win at home to make it 2-1. It's been a low scoring affair in that one, which is kind of a change compared to this Calgary series where Edmonton and the Flames are scoring at just ridiculous rates. I think their
Yeah.
first game was 9-6. Calgary was up 6-1. They tied it up, and then it went to 9-6. I'm like, oh my god, my brain was hurting watching that first game.
Yeah, not 9-6 and 5-3, 4-1. Like,
Yeah, and
do not take the under.
do not take the under. And the crazy thing about Edmonton too, like they have Connor McDavid, right? And coming into the series, I might be wrong like on one or two of the numbers, but pretty much they scored 26 points coming into this series in the playoffs, and he was on the ice for 20 of them. Coming in. He's just different. He's just different. He's the best in the world. He's absolutely a game wrecker, and this team is just not the same when he's not there. And they're playing well. And that's a fun series. The battle for Alberta. Shout out.
Then you
And
got the Avalanche and Blues
I have
going at it
nothing to
too.
say. I have not watched a single game of that. I'm gonna be real with you. So I have nothing to say
I
about
haven't
them.
either. But 2-1, Colorado leads. We can say that.
The
Shout out.
two of the cooler color matchups in sports in general. You got blue and yellow, and then like that maroon and green, blue. It's awesome. I love it. Give me more of that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of that series though, so don't
Yeah.
crucify me. I'm sorry. Be happy
And
I'm
we're-
watching any hockey, okay?
I told you next season the spectators are gonna do a better job at just covering hockey. So hold us to that. We're gonna try.
I'll be all into hockey when the Rangers win. I'll be all in. All in.
And we're really hoping that we can get a Ranger Lightning Eastern Conference Finals. We're
We'll be
hoping we
there.
could slide to a game if they're not $1 million.
It might be.
They might be, and you know what? We're gonna be on the outside, Thunder Alley.
How you gonna hate from the outside? We can't even get in.
Oh
Go
man,
Rangers. Go Rangers.
go Rangers! And then
And
just to round it off, let's hit that baseball talk. We
oh
we
my
getting
god.
everything today.
Oh my god. There's
We
baseball
getting
too.
everything.
Trevor Story just decided for the last 6 games he wants to be the best player of all time. That's just He had the worst start I've seen, like a second baseman ever. He was an elite defensive shortstop. Elite. He goes to second base, an easier position in every way, and like forgot how to play defense. Forgot to hit. And then this week he has 6 home runs, a 1.5 OPS in the last 6 or 7 games. The Red Sox got a 5-game winning streak.
Three home runs in one game, and then a grand slam. Was it the next game?
Yeah.
Insane. Like you said, five game win streak, 8-2 in their last 10. So we'll give the props to the Red Sox. We'll give it. They were looking abysmal to start the year. We'll give it to them. Congrats.
Well, and they're hitting the ball really well too. It's not just him.
Are.
I mean, Devers is having a season. Xander Bogaerts is playing his butt off. JD Martinez is looking like he used to. Like these guys are hitting. Uh-oh.
What? Just a funny little stat I'm looking at. They have a +1 run differential.
Yeah, their pitching is horrible. Their pitching is horrible. Like their pitching is so bad that the best reliever in the American League last year, Whitlock, had to become a starter. And now he's starting games because their starting rotation is so horrible that they just have to. I mean, Paxton hasn't come back. Evaldi has not been what he has been the last couple of years. He's been missing a step. His last start, he gave up like 9. So like,
yeah, doesn't help that they're 9-17 against teams under 500. That's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah,
and they've had a pretty tough schedule too. So that that'll make it rough for you. But I mean, again, they're playing better now. It just goes to show the AL East is insane. The AL East is insane because they're surging a little bit. They're only like, and the crazy thing is they've won 8 of their last 10, right? They're only 2 games ahead of the Orioles. Like even the Orioles aren't the worst team in the league.
Yeah, and shout out to the Orioles. They just called up Adley Rutschman, so they got a little glimmer of hope over there for the organization. So we love that. Go ahead, do your thing.
We do love that.
Make it happen. Why not? And then I want to give a shout out to the real best division in baseball, the NL West.
Yeah.
All 5 teams, they all have, in theory, the best records because Colorado has 19 wins, and that's the most for a last place team. So shout out, they're the best.
They're the best. And it's surprising too that Colorado's played so well. We talked about it last time, but they're playing really well. The Diamondbacks are just like elite pitching. Are they becoming a pitching factory? Do we have to worry about the Diamondbacks becoming the Yankees, Brewers, Indians? Like, do we have Rays? Do we have to worry about them being the 5th team in that? I don't know, but
maybe
they're playing well enough, well above expectations, certainly. And
they're both 3-7 in their last 10.
Still, but like that's what they should be doing constantly. Yeah. They've outplayed that, so it's impressive to an extent. We'd be remiss to go without talking about the Josh Donaldson stuff that happened this weekend. 2 weekends ago, there was a mini brawl between the Yankees and the White Sox, and then this weekend there was another mini brawl. It was kind of just a bunch of jawing and chattering, and then there was a point where Tim Anderson had to be held back. He got brought all the way to the dugout by Jose Abreu, which was very funny to watch a grown man with a hair tie in his beard just pulling back this dude who's just, let me at him. And in the moment, it was just like, what's going on? Because you watched it all happen, and Donaldson was just kind of standing there. And then you hear everything he says after, and the MLB actually suspended him a game. So Josh Donaldson suspended a game for his comments. Just fully inappropriate stuff. Don't call people stuff like that. It's really just that simple. It was disturbing to hear at first. We got some context on it. It made it a little bit better. It certainly made it better. But like,
it made it all make sense to why it was said. But then again, in hindsight, it's like,
We just don't need to be saying stuff like this. I
yeah,
don't think Donaldson's malicious in it at all. I don't think he's necessarily a bad person. I think 1 game suspension is kind of a joke. If you're going to suspend him more.
yeah,
I think 1 game is kind of a joke. You should have suspended him the whole series, in my opinion. That being said, he's also on the COVID IL, so we're kind
yeah.
of getting it anyway. The just desserts and the karma kind of all came around. But yeah, don't call people stuff that could be taken offensively, and if there's something that bothers somebody and they mention that it does, just be like, "Hey, my bad. I won't do it again."
Yeah.
And that's just
It's
a
a prank.
life
It's a
thing.
prank.
That's a life
Yeah.
thing. I don't care if it's a prank. I don't care if it's a joke. If something's too far, cut it out.
And that's the thing. You go in with a non-malicious intent, thinking that it's just a joke, but the other person looks at it whatever way they're gonna look at it, and then it's like, well,
And Liam Hendricks had a good
I'll-
point to it too. He was just like, usually inside jokes are for people who like each other.
yeah,
I'm not gonna go up to Aaron Rodgers and be like, "Sup, Pac-Man," and like he'll be like, "Don't you hate me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't stand you." Like,
yeah, and even Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, he was like,
he gave the best
uh,
response to it, by the
he
way.
was he was like, when I
Perfect. Mwah.
first heard it, I was very taken aback by it. Like, what are we doing? And then you hear the context, you're like, okay, it makes it better, but still, let's just stay away from that.
Yeah, and
And
again,
everything he said was
it's just like a human rights thing. Like if something bothers somebody, it doesn't matter if you think they're soft for it. It doesn't matter what you think about them in that. If somebody is feeling a type of way towards something, just respect that. You know, it's just easier for everybody. Just respect that. Take the joke out of your arsenal. You can still be funny, and if you can't, and that was your crutch, then you weren't funny to begin with.
yeah.
So that's all.
Facts.
That's all. Is there anything else? Dear Lord, we have gone through a lot. It's been quite a while since we've done an episode like this, and I love it. These are my favorite
And
ones.
even though it's been a while, I think this was our like most jam-packed. I don't think
Yeah.
we've ever had one where we had baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, golf,
Shout out to
college
AC Milan
football.
winning their first championship in like however many years, 11 years or something like that. AC Milan usually a powerhouse in the Italian league. Also, shout out to Manchester City winning the Premier League again. Did you know Liverpool's lost, I think, 3 total Premier League games in the last 3 years, and they have won 1 championship. Stop drawing. Win your games. Win your games. Look at me. Soccer guy. Big soccer guy. Soccer pod.
I think that's it. I mean, Mets are kind of metting because DeGrom and Scherzer are out now, so that
Oh, yeah,
sucks.
Scherzer's hurt. Chad Green, Tommy John.
Chad Green, Tommy John.
These are big
so,
things. Manny Machado's still great.
Yeah. So I'm sure we can go on for another 20.
We
It was
won't.
nice to talk some football though.
It was nice to talk a little bit of football. Just a little bit. Just a taste. Again, it's OTAs. There's nothing to get excited about.
Nothing to even talk about, but
Just,
we
again,
mentioned the NFL.
Kyler. Just keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
So
gonna be
thank you
interesting.
guys. Make sure, like Brooklyn said at the beginning of the episode, make sure you follow us at Spectators Media on all of our socials and go to YouTube, Spectators Media. Check us out because we're going to have like 4 videos come out this week, including this one. We have an interview coming out. We have an Eastern Conference final glimpse because Omar was there, and a lot of other cool stuff that are going to be coming out in the coming weeks. Summer is going to be jam-packed for us, guys. So just keep an eye out for that. Because sports are going to come to a dwindle a little bit. It'll be the MLB for the most part, but we will not be stopping anytime soon. So thank you guys, as always, for listening, for watching. Brooklyn, thank you for your time. And we'll see you guys next Monday. Peace.